Alrighty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another weekly update. Hope everybody's having a lovely weekend. And with that being said, let's dive in some TA. All right, guys, I am going to preface the video by saying we have a pretty concerning slash confusing look we got going on. We have SPY showing weakness, IWM showing weakness, DIA showing weakness, and then you have the NASDAQ not looking too bad. So we're going to talk about that in today's video and what that could mean. We have big tech earnings coming up next week. We have a lot of earnings coming up next week. So we certainly do have volatility that we can be looking forward to next week. So let's talk about it. And we're going to start off with the weekly charts, and I am just going to point out SPY doesn't necessarily look so bad over here on the weekly time frame, but I am going to say we're going to come down to the daily time frame, and it does suggest we could definitely take a slide down here, and we can maybe even revisit this golden pocket right there, the 0.618 fib there, which is going to be right below 574.71 support. We did already come down, and we got bought up within pretty much right to the penny. All right, the low, well, not right to the penny, but the low was 574.42. We have 574.71. That was our breakout level over here. So, certainly if we come back into that area, we're going to be getting a reaction down there. So that's, I'm just going to say target for the week on SPY downside. That's what we're going to be watching for. It does look like we are going to get down there. I think we very easily can sell to start the week here. VIX kind of perked up into the weekend there. And then you have SPY just looking like death over here. And, I'm just going to jump forward and say DIA does not look, good at all. IWM does also not look good at all. Only thing that I'm going to say doesn't look so bad is QQQ's weekly chart over here. The NASDAQ really isn't looking too bad over here heading into these big tech earnings. But when you have the Dow, the Russell 2000, and the S&P 500 all looking like they could pull back, guys, I think it would be kind of dumb to not, expect the pullback here, or at least, not be open to some downside action to start the week. Last week, we came into the week with a neutral bias because we had, these neutral looking weekly candlesticks. We're not going to be, looking for too much. We're looking for a sell to start off the week and then a bounce into the end of the week. Did we get that? I think it's very, very, very extremely safe here to say that is exactly what we got, guys. Even when things are uncertain on those weekly charts, we still happen to nail the bias for the week. And, I am going to hit that button for that. There we go. That was easy, okay? No, guys, it's never easy. We're just going to, take the punches as we roll with them. All right. SPY, all right, guys, is not looking good. QQQ over here, on the other hand, this is QQ's daily chart. I'm just going to say it does look like it wants to, come up here to this all-time high, but we could definitely, pull back into, another. You got this low over here. What if we pull back into a higher low and then carry on our way? That wouldn't be the worst look over here on QQ. But back to SPY, like this is the thing that, I'm just saying, you broke that uptrend. That was your make or break spot. You broke under the daily 9. We said we're not going to get bullish on this until we can get a daily close back above that daily 9. We also mentioned this 4-hour chart over here was looking pretty good. Now it's not looking so good. All right. Now, on the daily time frame here, we got underneath the daily 9 and we still haven't gotten. Excuse me, I always develop these hiccups when I'm recording these videos. But yeah, we haven't gotten our daily close back above it, which tells us, short-term momentum here is not to the upside. It is to the downside. Now, you did come down here and find buyers off this daily 21 EMA, but, you could very clearly see above this blue line, good things happen. Below blue line, in the short term, like, I'm talking a few trading sessions here, bad things happen. All right. Oh, you got back above it within a few trading sessions. Really good things happen. All right. You're underneath it. You get back above it right here. Well, over the next, 2 to 3 trading sessions, what happened? Really good things happens. Okay. Right now you're underneath. So you are exposing yourself to those bad things happening. So this is why I'm just, definitely going to say it's not the worst idea to have this cautious, tone to you coming into this week that we have absolutely no idea what happens off of it. We're going to be fed a ton of data this week, all right? We have a ton of earnings coming out, and we don't know how the market's going to interpret that. We can come over here to QQ and, look at this weekly chart and say, yeah, all right, the market's probably thinking the good things are going to be coming, all right? But you have all the other ones not looking so good. So, I imagine big tech is probably going to hold up the market this week, and then you're going to have the things that are looking pretty weak sell off. All right, so that's kind of how I'm looking at these things. But let's go over some levels over here. Starting on SPY. On the downside, as support, we're going to have 578.54, 576.57, low of this candlestick right there, and then our 574.71 breakout level right there. All right, already had the break and retest, already got your bullish reaction there. So, if we come back down into it, we are going to be expecting bulls there. You also do have the, daily 21, like I mentioned here, but we already got the reaction. Okay, how I look at support and resistance, people are like, oh, the more time that gets bounced off of, the stronger the support is. Well, guys, it's like glass. Okay, you jump on this window, eventually it's gonna break. All right, so if you come back down here, you had a bunch of buy orders, you came down, you filled some of them. We don't know how many got filled down there, but if you come back into it, we don't have all of them. That's what I'm getting at. All right, so we could probably come into this golden pocket. All right, so underneath 574.71, we watch the 0.618 fib over here at 573.25, we'll call it. Under there, we have nothing until 569.80. All right, that is the high of this candlestick right here. That happens to be right where the 0.786 fib is. So that is a level that I am going to be paying attention to. Now, if you want another one because you're a short-term trader down there, 571.96. Maybe get a little reaction off of here, but under here, you don't have anything until you come down here. So that's the level I'm going to watch. I'm going to just look for buyers to step in right here. All right, no need to complicate things. On the upside, as resistance, we have 580.60, 581.71, 584.50, and 586.12. That is your current all-time high. We found sellers right here off of 584.50 on Friday. High of day was 584.46. We know where sellers are on the upside. So if you get up here, expect them. QQQ. What do we got? All right. First things first, I'll remind everyone, this weekly chart ain't looking too bad at all. All right. We literally, pointed out right down here, 483.88 daily time frame. All right. We were watching, where you broke out over here. Okay. I understand you didn't get exactly down there, but we also knew you had the weekly 9 there. And typically we get bullish reactions off of those. And we definitely do have bullish weekly structure here going on. You had this ugly double bottom, and we really have not seen the move off of that. We've kind of just grinded up. We've retested the spot a few times. Last week was kind of no exception. If we come back into that spot, expect buyers again. All right. We know for a fact they're down here. Right. So, on this zone here between 480 and 484, we'll call it, expect your buyers to step back in. That's going to be where you broke out from. All right, so that's really all we have to concern ourselves over here on the weekly chart is we have the big tech earnings this week. Things do have that bullish look to them. I think, it's not in anyone's best interest to start just looking for immediate downside over here on the NASDAQ. So that's why I said in the beginning, we have a, quite a confusing look here. But, I can assure you, this thing, the NASDAQ and the Dow trade completely different. They have different components, all right? So that's why I was saying maybe, big tech holds up the market and then gives the market a pump after these earnings, all right? Which, we got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday earnings. We're going to talk about them right after this, all right? But let's finish up with our levels here. QQQ on the upside as resistance, we have 496.49, 498.83, 501.01, and 503.52. On the downside, you have 493.30, 491.19, 488.41, and then 483.88, which I'm actually going to move. And we're going to make it that low right there. All right, so 485.05. But, if you come back down and revisit this, you're probably going to, come a little bit lower. In that case, we have the golden pocket. All right. So, just don't breach 482.30 and things aren't looking too bad. You breach 482.30, you can expect to move down to 477.40. And then at that point, we have a larger retracement coming. And then we could talk about this. All right. Then we could talk about you lose this level. Hey, 468 is sitting right there. For now, in the meantime, we have no reason to talk about that because price is still up here. All right, so that's support and resistance on QQ. Let's come over to IWM. I did point out at the beginning of the video, this does not have a good look to it. All right, it does not. You did find buyers right off of that 0.786 fib intra-week, all right, on Wednesday, but you are looking like you want to come right back down to those lows, all right? So underneath 217.37, we have 215.08. Now, I am just going to say, all right, we're going to put this on. I'm just going to say, I don't think this makes sense. come back down here. I really don't think we're going to see price come back down here and then just shoot right back up. That kind of, undercuts this low here. See how you have a higher low compared to over here? Well, this was supposed to be a series of higher lows. Well, if you come down and make a lower low, then that's not going to be the best look. All right, now the weekly chart, we are sitting right here on the weekly 9. We found buyers this week and this week. All right, so 2 weeks ago we found that's where buyers stepped in. We're right back there. We did not get a good weekly close. So, I'm not going to say this suggests immediate upside here. I am bullish on small caps just because of, the overwhelming, bullish look you have here. You very clearly want to make your way up here. But as you could see, in the short term, I'm just saying things don't look the best. They really don't. And when we have 3 out of 4 major indices suggesting we could be seeing some more downside, we're probably going to see some more downside. All right. So, IWM on the downside, look for 217.37. If you can't hold there, though, like I'm serious, you're probably just going to have a quick move down to 215.08. Now, under there, you have nothing until 213. All right. So, I'm not too fond of how it's looking. But, bullish on the dip. But I'm also going to say, if you're going to get up here, it doesn't make sense. You're going to take out this low and start heading towards this low. It just does not make sense to me at that point. All right. I don't know when we're going to be shooting up because now you just have this massive range that we're going to be in. And you're doing the same exact thing that you did over here and you did over here. And like, when are we going to get the trending move? I have absolutely no idea. I, assumed it was going to be happening right up here. All right. You had this consolidation. I was assuming you were going to get more upside here. You did not get that right away. So, I'm just going to say, take a chill pill over here on the small caps. They don't have the best look in the short term. All right. If you're bullish on that dip, buy the dip over here in the golden pocket. As far as I'm concerned, this thing really doesn't look too good. It does not look too good. Rejected the daily 9. All right. So that's where you're watching on the downside. On the upside as resistance, you have 219.98, 221.04. All right. And then, now I guess you do have 221.97. We're going to take that off, though. Doesn't make sense to have that there. And then 222.60. All right. But again, I don't even know if you're going to get up here this week. I really don't. All right. We have big tech. That is, the focus of this week. That is going to be moving the NASDAQ. Small caps will not be moving with that. How it works. All right. You get, rate news. You get anything that's, going to be affecting that stuff. That's when small caps are going to take the spotlight. But right now, they are not. All right. So keep that in mind if you are trading them. The Dow, how are we looking, guys? Got underneath the daily 9 over here. Rejected it. All right. Got your dead cat bounce off of the top of the previous range. We expected buyers there. I expected a bigger bounce here. What happened? You put in a bearish engulfing candlestick the next day. That is not the best look. You are looking pretty ugly, and I do have to assume you are coming down lower, all right? So, I'm not going to put it on, but coming from here to here, you already broke underneath the 0.786 fib there. I do have to assume you're going to be coming down to these lows over here. So we're just going to, watch that support right there. All right, at 418.50, and then underneath there you have 416.55. But I'm still going to say this really is not the best look. All right, on the weekly chart, you are right here at the weekly 9, so buyers are going to defend. It's going to be right here. All right, we're going to see it happen this week. And if you put in a, bullish candlestick this week and not something like this, all right, like if you put in something like this, all right, where we come down first half of the week and then we get bought up by the end of the week, that wouldn't be the worst look. It's kind of the perfect spot to get bought up. But, and if that doesn't happen, it's not a good look. And we're either going to be consolidating for a few weeks or we are going to be declining. That is how that is looking to me. All right, so support 418.50, 416.55. From that point, you really just, you have the golden pocket to pay attention to. I'm going to start down here at 413, 413.30, right around here. All right, now VIX, this is another reason we shouldn't just be looking for, markets to just keep rallying here just right away. I'm just saying this is something that is relatively concerning. We did get that daily close finally above the daily 9. You kept having these upper wicks. Guess what? All right, you just rallied and closed near the top of these wicks. This thing's probably going higher to start off the week. All right. That's what this tells me. That's what this should kind of tell all of us is, risk off environment. That is probably the, that is the way to go. Is the mindset to have right now is do not, consider this a nice risk on environment. We had that in 2021. All right, bring us that market back. It would be freaking amazing. I would have a blast. You would have a blast. We'd all have a great, jolly time. But right now, that's not the market we're in. All right. The market we're in is kind of, freshly, just continuously pushing up to new highs, but everyone's on edge every single time. It's not that time when everyone's like, oh, everything's all good. No, it's not like that. We're going to have, tons of volatility around this. So yeah, VIX does look like it is going to be perking up. We're going to look for it to push these highs next week. So that is also something that is suggesting to me we're probably going to be having a red week to start off the week. Just what I'm looking at. So that's VIX. Now let's go over some of these big boys. All right. So we have Tesla, guys. You did have this downtrend. You had this little, false breakout over here, but then you climbed back up and you actually held it the second time around, as well as right there at the 0.618 fib. It's not looking too bad at all, guys. You closed up at the high. I have to imagine you're at least going to get a move like this. So I'm looking for like $15 to $20 more of upside no matter what this week. You put in one of these weeks dips, expect them to be bought. You see a $10 to $15 dip. Not a bad idea to, risk something small on that dip, because it could turn into something like this where you catch a $40 move by the end of the week. That's what I think is going to be the case here. I don't think you're just going to sell here. I think you are going to at least have another week with, $15 to $20 more of upside, just like it just pointed out right over here, right? Even if you, come down in the week, you still had a high that was $20 above the close of the previous week. I think we are at least going to have something like that, which means I'm just saying 300 is probably incoming. Maybe this week, ladies and gents. There you go. All right. So that's Tesla. Support, if you start falling here, you're going to be watching right over here at 250.96. I don't think you're going to actually come down here with how this thing's looking. I think you're just kind of going to pop above 271 and start pushing towards these next resistance levels. And guess what? The major one is up at 300. So I do think we're probably going to get to 300 this week. That's Tesla. Apple, how are we looking over here, guys? You're still just literally consolidating. You're not doing a whole lot of anything right now. You're just, preparing for the next big move. You have earnings coming out on Thursday. So big day on Thursday over here. We have another big one on Thursday as well. We're going to talk about in a little bit. All right. But you're right on this uptrend. You're, getting pretty tight. I guess we call this like a little pennant. But you also kind of have this kind of look to you. So, something to keep in mind there is, Apple, it could go either way. I'm going to be completely honest. All right. This is set up to go absolutely either way. And I think they know exactly what they're doing. They're getting it real tight right into earnings. Like, this makes sense. I'm still biased on the upside. This thing, the weekly chart really doesn't look all that bad to me. It looks like it's consolidating before having another impulsive move up. That's just me. All right, so that's Apple. Microsoft, how we looking, guys? Right into earnings, and you have this fresh breakout. I don't think that's I'm just saying that's probably going to lead to further upside. All right, even if you want to, have it like that, you're still right here at the, apex of this pennant. It's getting pretty tight here. It's getting ready for a big move regardless. So that's why I said we're going to have volatility this week, guaranteed. I think tech is set up to not die this week, but either way, we are going to be having that volatility guaranteed this week. All right. So if you're a futures trader, NQ is going to be popping this week. Doesn't matter. All right. Get your bias in, early on the days. And we're probably going to have some trending moves. I think we're going to have some wicked moves this week, and I'm ready for it. I hope you're ready for it. And, hopefully this video is helping you get ready for it. Microsoft, you're right here at this downtrend, guys. You're literally right here. Break above it. Look for 435.30. All right. And you're going to have the golden pocket starting right above there. All right. And if we just go like that, there you go. All right. So somewhere in this range would get sellers. But, at the end of the day, you have earnings coming in on Wednesday. So, screw these charts in the short term, guys. We do know you're just coiled up waiting for a big move, just like Apple. We don't know which way it's going to go. I'm thinking bullish, but, I don't know. Got no idea. I can see how this thing is set up, though. Set up in a bullish manner. But, even if you face plant here, you also have bear structure. All right. So, pretty set up for both directions. Goog. What do we got, guys? We also have earnings this week on Tuesday. All right. So this is something that is also set up, and I think it's definitely overwhelmingly set up in a bullish manner. So I will be very clear on that one. You're approaching this downtrend right here. It looks like you want to have your little breakout, and then we're going to be looking for 170.41, then 175.91. Now, there is a chance that you do this all in one go off of earnings. It is very clearly consolidating here around this daily 9. We were looking for price to get above it. Now you're just consolidating right around it. I think it is getting ready to get a pop. All right. You have not had good news on Goog over the past few months, but charts are certainly set up in one way over the other, and I'm saying that way is bullish. All right. So downside support 164.37, 161.63. If you get a negative earnings reaction, do not look to buy this thing right away. All right. I've seen these, and you can if you want, but you're at least going to get a few more days of downside if you do get that. So I will look to buy the Goog dip, but it will not be right away because I've tried that and it doesn't go my way. So keep that one in mind. If you see a big, fat, ugly minus 5 to 10% day over here on Goog, it probably gets some continuation. Like, a good amount of continuation. You're going to be like, crap. So there's that. All right. Meta, how we looking, guys? Not looking the best. All right. Not looking the best here on the weekly chart. This is where I'm going to say it doesn't look too bad. All right. So you did get your pullback. That could have been all she wrote. All right. I'm looking for a lot more upside over here on Meta. And, either it pulls back over here, probably doesn't, bounce back right away if it has an earnings gap down. But, that is the ideal spot down here. If you do see a big earnings move that brings it down here, ideally it holds, 540 to 530 to 540. That's really what you're looking at. On the upside, though, this weekly chart doesn't look bad at all. It could also bring a decent upside move. So, I'm still going to say, hey, confusing market to be trading right now. I think it's best to size down, have that risk off mentality. And I think you're going to be a satisfied camper if you take that approach, because in reality, we're going to get clear direction. It's going to happen. All right. It's after this week, though. We don't know where the market is going this week. We point to how it's set up, but we don't know how the market will react. Amazon, how are we looking, guys? Also got the earnings this week. All right. Guess what? Also set up in a bullish manner over here on the weekly time frame, just like Goog. So you got underneath it. You found rejection at the weekly 9. Got above it. All right. Now you're getting 4 back-to-back weekly bullish reactions here off of that weekly 9. I do think it's getting ready for a pop. All right. I think it's getting ready for a pop, but I'm not going to say this daily chart looks good. I'm not going to say that at all. You have the golden pocket sitting there, and I know premiums are pumped. So hey, I see no reason to play this into earnings. But if you want to take a gamble, there you go. I do think weekly chart is set up in a bullish manner. You do have the great sell wall sitting up there, so price has definitely been held down for a while. Is this going to be the event to catapult it to the upside? Absolutely no idea. All right, but we are consolidating in a bullish manner on the weekly chart, and I will point that out. That's why I said I think big tech could be the thing that saves the market / props the market up this week, as other things don't. They drag the market down. I don't know. That's just how I'm seeing these weekly charts set up. That's just my opinion. SMH chips, guys, still looking vulnerable. You're sitting up there rejecting your supply zone again. You're just consolidating. You're in this giant range. Nothing really to talk about over here, guys. You break above here, you look for 264 up there, which I'm actually just going to say you look for the new high we put in right there at 262.26. Is that it? Is it right there? Yeah, 262.26. But chips aren't looking too good. All right. In the video over here, you're still above that daily 9, but you did break under that uptrend that we pointed out the other day. Over here, things were at a vulnerable spot, and I still argue that they are looking pretty vulnerable. Now, on the weekly chart, it does look like it wants to continue. It doesn't look necessarily bearish. If you pull back clear as day over here, we're going to be looking for buyers around 130. Until that happens, I got nothing to do over here on this ticker. There's nothing to really talk about it. It's either going to keep pushing highs or it's going to start breaking down. Break the daily 9, we'll talk about it. All right. From that point, we watch 136 underneath 136.15. We have 131.26 high from over here. That's NVIDIA. AMD earnings coming up on Tuesday. Not looking good over here. You were rejecting your short-term moving average there. You broke down over here. You had these negative reactions over there. Guess what? You popped back up. You rejected again. All right. So not looking good underneath 154.92. You watch 150.52. We don't know what's going to happen off of earnings, so keep that in mind. Avgo, this is the one with the weekly chart. I don't think it's looking necessarily too bad. Daily chart is looking pretty ugly, but in the weekly chart there, it's right in the spot where, buyers are probably going to step in if they are going to. So that is something to take note of. But, we had a bunch of these uptrends to watch, and guess what happened? You started breaking down from them. So, short term, not looking too good over here on the weekly chart, though. I would argue this is, where buyers want to start stepping in. It's between here and here. All right, you're right on the weekly 9. Really not the worst look there on the weekly chart, but daily chart, very clearly got underneath it. You're getting rejection, so not like over here. You're getting rejection here. You could very easily get slammed down back to these lows. 169.50 underneath there. 165.80 is the next support. ARM, you broke down from that uptrend. What's happening now, huh? What's happening now? You had a little bounce. It was a dead cat bounce. Now you're getting some rejection from your short-term moving averages there. All right. I don't think things are looking too good over here. I really don't. All right. Upside resistance 147, 149.40, 152.22. Downside support 141.44. Underneath there, you're going to have this low that was created the other day on Thursday, 138.40, and then 132.80. Break from uptrend. You have nothing until over here at 140. That was the original, what we were pointing out there. This thing could become a slippery slope. It's not looking too good. So, definitely keep that one in mind if playing. Earnings are not next week. They're early November. MU broke down from that uptrend. Still, I'm just going to say chips are looking vulnerable. You're consolidating here. Nothing to do over here on MU, all right? Break above 111, 116.34, and then 121.01 is going to be the resistance you're targeting. But until that happens, you're stuck in this little range you got going on over here. Bottom of that range, 104.59. Start breaking under there. You're probably going to start coming down to 98.94. SMCI, still just consolidating here, broke that little uptrend, did not get the pullback over here. You have nothing to really get bullish on until you could break above 50.10. Bitcoin, now this is what I'm saying is hot right now, right? So this is what I think is going to get some boom candlesticks this week. So we're going to talk about it. Fresh breakout over here. Weekly chart is not, getting the worst close to the week over here. Daily time frame, all right, you pull back, break and retest off 66.5K. You are so far holding that 66.5K mark, and I do think you are getting ready to run back up. All right, so you got that little action right there. Break that, a little downtrend. I think we could follow that right there. So, I think 70K is incoming. If that becomes the case, coin is going to end up, getting some buyers up here. So we're going to be looking for price to get into the golden pocket this week. If Bitcoin starts getting an aggressive push towards all-time highs, I still do think coin is going to make its way back up here, 270 to 300 bucks. MSTR, how are we looking over here? Pullbacks are buying opportunities. Doesn't have the best daily close over there, but on the weekly chart, you can definitely tell this thing is nothing to get bearish on right now. All right. And again, if Bitcoin, starts having these moves, well, this thing's going to make a bullish move. It has earnings on Wednesday. Mara, all right. 1672, that is the level to pay attention to. Underneath there, you're going to have the golden pocket. That starts right over here at 1640-ish, right around there. All right. But Mara, you're planning on, buying over here and playing for the breakout. You have not had that breakout yet. I think it comes if Bitcoin can hold here and start pushing 70K. TSLA, all right. You're watching 2040, or not 2047, 1047 down here. That's your break and retest level. You had this little, base / double bottom kind of look to you down here. Broke out. That is going to be your neckline. All right, so if you can't hold there, you're watching this level right there at 975, but I'm just saying you probably are going to be holding that, and it's again going to be moving with Bitcoin, so it depends on what that guy's doing. If it starts pushing 70K, TSLA probably starts making a move up to 15. All right, so that is what I got for you guys today. We're going to now be looking at our trade ideas going into the following week. All right. So this is a pretty tight week here. I'm not going to be looking, to take on too much risk here. I don't think it's the best idea. So I'm going to keep this list short. We have what we just pointed out, CLSK right here. All right. We're watching 1047 and then 975 under there. That is going to be within your golden pocket here. So those are the levels that I'm going to be paying attention to there on CLSK. Mara, you're watching 1672 under there. You're just watching this golden pocket. Again, if Bitcoin gets buyers and gets pushed up to 70K, these things will be going for a ride. They will have that short-term momentum. Coin, all right, you're rejecting right here at the zone. You pull back into 192.45. I really like it there. Oklo, this is one that I'm just going to show the weekly chart here. OKLO. I'm not going to say it just continues higher from here, but I am going to say dip is going to create a buying opportunity here, and I do think this run has not ended yet. I do think there's going to be much more to this run. Pull back, that's a buying opportunity. That's all. I'm just going to leave it at that. TLT, we pointed this out last week. We pointed out, hey, if you can undercut this low over here, you're probably going to put in that bullish divergence. You're in the golden pocket. You probably are going to get buyers bounce you back up. I was targeting this 93.86 and 95.14 gap fill. Those were the gap fills that I wanted to see. You did get rejection by the daily 9 so far, and it does look like you're going to undercut this low again. Watch 91.47 as your support, and you know your line in the sand is going to be 90.40 down here. Expect buyers somewhere in between here and here for a bigger bounce. And honestly, at this point, maybe even just come up and test the 93.86 gap. That would be your uptrend you just broke down from. Big uptrend, and that would be that. CLH, I'm just going to say this is one that I think is getting ready to go. I don't know. I think this pullback, it's either going to show us this week that this pullback is completed, or it's going to show us that, you know, we were all just sucked into this. And I was sucked into this and at a wrong spot. And then it's going to come all the way back down here. One or the other happens this week. All right. I don't think we just get straight up consolidation this week. Weekly chart, we could clearly tell rejection here at the weekly 9. Then you came back here. So it's either this week we find out, hey, bottom's not in and it comes under the low again, or you know, we're going to pop up above these short-term moving averages and really start going for a ride. We don't know what's going to happen though. All right. So, you know, pop above, we're going to call it right here, 32.70. You probably start busting a move to the upside up to 34.16, then 35.99. Above here, things get, you know, pretty crazy up to here. PLTR, this one on the weekly chart, I'm just going to point out, does not suggest immediate downside here. Probably does continue higher. You do have earnings coming up, not this week, but the following week. It looks like it wants to pop up to a new high, $50 the next cycle level. You did pop up to a new all-time high on Friday. I think it does get some continuation. Pullbacks are buying opportunities. Uber. All right, what do we got going on over here on Uber, guys? Pull back into the zone over here around 75.40. That's where that starts. We're going to say 74 to 75 bucks. That is the buy zone over here on Uber. Big inverse head and shoulders pattern right there. You got a left shoulder, you have a head, you have a right shoulder. You broke out. Now would be the retest. We pointed out over here, you're either going to bounce back up from there, or you're going to take out that 78.45 support and come down to 75.40. Well, it does look like we're going to begin that path down here. You also have earnings coming up this Friday. So, you know, premiums are going to be juiced. But if I had to guess where that, you know, earnings is going to take you, it's going to be to the upside here. I like this. All right. I really like this. But, you know, again, earnings season, which is why I think it's best to be risk off right now. I don't think there's really a reason to take on too much risk. All right. Right here, guys, love just started breaking out of here. Here you got your break and retest last week. You're still holding that daily 9. Got up above this high right here, all right, above 29.44. You were probably going to start pushing up to 30.93. All right, the setup is just one on the weekly chart, though. So, you know, just realize it's for swing trading, and it will take time. This one actually did start breaking down, but now you're coming into an appealing spot, in my personal opinion. And, yeah, right under there, you are going to have golden pocket. All right, so 1836, that is a level to be paying attention to. I got my alert set from down there. You did not end up taking out that 2285 resistance here this week, and you sold. All right, you sold. You broke down from this pennant, and I think it's pretty obvious you're coming down into this 1836 spot down there. Down there is where I would like to see buyers. I think a larger reversal is underway here. I think this is just part of the process, and if we get buyers stepping down here and then push you back up, all right, this is probably about to create an explosive move. So I'm going to keep it on my radar. All right, Baidu, guys, I'm just going to say right here at the 0.786 fib, either holds here or it doesn't. All right, China went on a pretty massive rip. Most stimulus they've done in quite some time. All right, or ever. And guess what? Now the hype is dying down. This is when people forget about these things, and you're right here at the 0.786 fib. So you're either going to hold here or you're going to undercut here and come down to the next support, which is going to be at 84.39. I don't know what's going to be the case. I don't know what's going to happen here, but I'm putting it on your radar. It's right here at where buyers would be stepping in if they're going to defend. Baba, another one that, you know, I'm going to say it's kind of consolidating in a bullish manner here. You got this little falling wedge action going on here on the hourly, you can see. I think I actually drew it on the 4 hour. Either way, you got something in the works over here on Baba. But same scenario, you know, it had that massive rip and now it's pulling back. This is the spot where it broke out. It's either going to get buyers again over here or it'll be down here, right? So either here at 90.46 or 85.79. One of those should hold. I don't know which one's going to hold, but you know, you will have the golden pocket right below 90.46. So both of those are within them. You probably get buyers defending here in between 85.79 and 90.46. HIMS, all right? I'm just going to say this weekly chart is back up towards the highs. Price, you know, got back up here. It's probably going to push for a new high. Maybe it consolidates here for a little while, but it is probably going to end up pushing up to a new high. 19.99, that is your breakout level right there. Pull back into it. There's your break and retest. I'm going to put this on the chart as well. You're going to have this uptrend. So if you pull back into that level, you're going to have the weekly, or not the weekly, you're going to have the daily 21 EMA right there. You're going to have this breakout level right there, which will create the break and retest. And you also have that uptrend support right there. Probably get buyers stepping in there. All right. If they don't step in, you know, we have a larger pullback on our hands and you come down here to 1736. But, you know, as long as they do defend here, we probably have a recipe for coming back up here to these highs, 23.47, testing that resistance again, and then pushing up to new, you know, high above 25.74. All right. So I do think that is probably going to be how this goes. You have a pretty, you know, gnarly cup and handle look to you right here. I think you're going to bust up and, you know, start running for new highs. Speaking of new highs, all right, new 52-week highs over here on SoFi. We pointed this one out towards the bottom. We pointed this one out on the breakout. I'm just going to say this thing now has had its full on the move that we were looking for down here. I kind of forgot about it, and then I saw it exploding again. It's now here, all right? So, you know, pullback is probable. Pullback equals buying opportunity. All right, doesn't have to pull back here. You have earnings coming this week. So, you know, probably going to get a big move. If we have an earnings move to the downside, that dip probably doesn't get bought up right away. Probably can, you know, just come down and dance around in the golden pocket for a while, and then it would get bought up. All right, so that would be all the way down here. I'll actually just change that. There you go. All right, so 717, 720 to $8. Look for buyers to step back in if you get in, you know, bad earnings reaction here. But, you know, things are looking really good over here. They're kind of going parabolic. So I'll put it on your radar. Next one we're going to talk about, and the last one we're going to talk about is Upstart. All right, so Upstart is one that looks like it could start breaking down here on this daily chart. You clear as they do have sellers stepping in here. Now, if you know, can really start breaking above here, that's when, you know, you got an explosive move in the works, and we could honestly be coming all the way up here. You know, right now it's looking like you're kind of consolidating right around this daily 9. You're about to break down. So break under 49.69. We're going to be watching for 45.71, and then 42.55 is going to be under there. Now, if you come back down here and test it this week, you're going to align with this uptrend. You're going to have price coming right into this uptrend, as well as your breakout level right there at 45.71. So that is a spot where I think buyers are, you know, they have incentive to defend there. They're probably going to defend at least for a dead cat bounce. Now, on the weekly chart, I want to point out why I think we're going to be getting some downside here. Well, just notice on all of these rips, all right? All of these rips. Once you have this red weekly candlestick, it's game over, all right? Now, you have this one right here. I'm not talking about this one. I'm not talking about this one, all right? I am saying, you know, once you had these impulsive moves here, and you had that, hey, you know, good amount of them lead to some more downside. I think we're probably going to be getting some more downside, all right? Right over here, it kind of got ripped back up, like right away. So, like, if you see buyers just, you know, take it right up to the highs next week, all right, then, hey, correction is over and we can look for a continued impulsive move here. Unless that happens, we're going to be looking for downside here. I think you're going to start seeing this guy cool off, and you're going to at least come back into this spot over here. So, you know, it's a short trade idea for you guys. There you go. Break under 49.69. 45.71. That is a decent sized move to play. All right, guys. So that is what I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed today's weekly update and our little market prep for next week. I hope we kill it next week, guys. We have a very volatile week incoming. We definitely have a very, like, probably the most volatile week we've had in a while here. So, you know, just expect it going into the week. There's no reason to, you know, be really looking for some. I'm just saying, all right, like, it's not a risk on environment. it's an environment right now this week that we're coming into where we don't know what's going to happen here. The big tech charts, I think, are set up in a bullish manner here, but at the end of the day, we're just going to come back over here to SPY, and guess what? That's a pretty ugly look here on the daily chart. That is something that I would look at, and I'm just like, they want to bring it back down here. It's probably what's going to happen. QQQ doesn't look terrible, all right, but I'm also going to say, this is very clearly seller stepping in. We're probably at least going to get 1 or 2 more days to the downside here after that day. Even if it doesn't come and revisit these lows, we're probably still getting 1 to 2 more days to the downside off of this look. And this is the only bullish chart I'm looking at this week out of all 4 indices. All right. I'm just saying, expect further downside to start the week. Like if you have Monday's candlestick and just completely fades it, I don't know what to tell you. All right. We're going all-time highs right away. But this is even QQQ. This is the only bullish index that I can really point to. And, and I'm not talking about the daily chart. I'm talking about this weekly chart doesn't look too bad. But then you come over here to VIX and like it very clearly suggests, yeah, all right, VIX it's getting perky over here. It's about to perk up back up over here and test $23. Not looking the best over here on VIX for the market. All right. So, bearish bias going into the week, guys. I personally think the big tech charts we went over that have earnings next week, I think those are set up in overwhelmingly bullish manners. But I'm open to whatever. All right. Good luck going into next week, and I will catch you on Monday. Peace.